said,
when you go live.
he said, keep that energy in person. I'll see you in person when I'm done talking. Bro, I'm all down for the smoke. I'll be at the Olympia.
Hold on, what happened?
Nah, he said keep that energy in person when I see him. I get.
Oh,
Drew, we grown men, bro. Like, why can't we can criticize everybody else but you? Come on, dude. But again, the reason why he's like the way because he's been on track for 3 weeks, so he's the main guy to be talking about. So if you're gonna go into a show with saying you're gonna win, people are gonna critique you. People are gonna talk about you.
But just from my perspective, from joining a little bit later, right? I don't know Brian. I didn't watch the Instagram lives before, right? I think there's a lot of channels out there, including the one that they were on. We'll call it Coach's Corner because Ben was hosting that live. But they're on there often, and they give their critiques. They give their flowers, but they also give their critiques.
Okay, can you hear me better?
I think it was just. I'm not gonna say it was aggressive in the delivery potentially, but I don't know, man. I don't.
At the end of the day, everybody's gonna like. They see what we're doing. We're gonna get. They're not really gonna talk about me because there's nothing you can really say about those type of people. They can't really say anything about me when it comes to competing wise. But they're gonna target like Alex, a Drew, just because they may not be a certain caliber of an Olympian, right? So you're easy targets for them to pick at, and then you break, and then next thing you know, now there's this fucking animosity shit that you went through. You know what I mean? So it's something that I've learned, bro. Trust me, I've been in your position multiple times. You got to brush that shit off, bro. And it's not even like it's to the point where I don't even respond to shit like that. I don't even have like those type of lives to where even if I get invited to it,
they ask, yeah, that's the thing. Ben put me in the middle. Ben likes stirring the pot. This is a guy that isn't just some random person that deliberately try to hate.
I keep telling y'all better leave that man alone, because
no, I don't have any problem with Ben. I have no problem with line talk or any of that. It was just the fact that Brian has met me in person and just kind of switched.
Guy? You said Brian what?
I don't even know. Like, we were following each other, everything was cool, but he just kept taking these like low blows at me, and I was just kind of like, hey, what's up, man? Like, it kept going and going and going. I let it go, and it's kind of like they have him on the channel and they never corrected him. Like, the whole point of being professional is the delivery, and I get it. I went off the deep end too, but I was making it as a point to be like, okay, he could give his opinion and be disrespectful, but I give my opinion and I'm just as disrespectful, but I'm the one that's wrong. That's the thing.
So
you're not wrong.
I think
it's okay for you to have your own opinion.
I think,
and I said he was a hoe, and that's what it is. If you're gonna act like that way, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'm a man before anything else, and I get it. You're not gonna tell me I can't take something personal. If I take it personal, I'm taking it personal. You're not gonna tell me as a grown man, get me on a live and try to have a therapy session and tell me not to take something personal. I'm gonna take it how I want. That's me. That's my personality. That's my character. I get it. They're gonna say brush it off. It's a critique. It's my opinion. Whatever. Listen, I get it's everybody's opinion, and right. You don't have to be an Olympian to judge the sport. I understand that. But from my perspective, I don't watch tennis, but I'm not going to critique somebody about how to fucking play tennis. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't know enough about it. It kind of just, opinion holds no weight. But then he's like, well, why are you getting so mad? Because your opinion holds no weight. You're a nobody, and you're taking these blatant attacks week after week after week on me, and it's getting frustrating. It's just kind of like, I'm going to check you, and I guarantee he's not going to say anything again. He apologized, and I let it go. I'm just telling you to keep you up to speed with everything. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm also not saying I'm wrong. I'm going to stick up for myself.
I was just about to say that, man.
Thing is, ain't nobody wrong in the situation. You know what I mean? You got your opinion. He got his opinion. The thing is, the way he delivering it, how you saying it, that's the disrespectful part. You address it. You check them. Just leave it alone. No, I wouldn't even. It's no point. We cut that shit right now.
Aaron,
yo.
The biggest change that we've been, celebrating, or not celebrating, but we've given you flowers for is almost just, I'm not going to say being more silent, but there's always been a lot of people talking and you just don't respond, right? I think that is something that is a very clear growth from you, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I think in the heat of emotion, Drew responded just with that emotion, you know. And
And
I
that's
think
that's one thing that I had to learn, you know, especially 2022. At literally, bro, 30 minutes after the fucking Olympia, there
people are
was just
celebrating that you
like, it was
lost.
crazy, right?
They're not celebrating that Ryan won. They're celebrating that you lost, and
But
that's
I'm even backing it up to 2022 when I won. Like even
But
when
you
I
only got
won,
one, so what do you know? It's like
right?
you only won, but you know, you robbed Brandon or Brandon got robbed. And dude, it pissed
Exactly.
me off
But
too. It pissed me off too. And I get it.
but
In the heat of
but the
moments, you
thing
say
is,
things and
but the
it
thing
puts you.
is, going into 2023, I knew I had heat on me, and losing it just put my mindset in a whole other place to where it's like, don't nobody matter besides these kids and what you got going on. So I've learned to like, it don't matter, bro. I get shit still to this day where people are talking shit, but at the end of the day, why am I wasting my breath on somebody who don't pay none of these light bills?
After the fact, I could completely relate. It's like the heat of the moment. I'm
Right?
a guy
So
who
it's
could give
like
great advice,
you have
but
to. I've learned how to control that emotion. Yes, I get fired up quick. I've always been like that, but it's just some things you just gotta. Bro, I laugh through the shit now. I just read them like, okay, cool. Like
yeah.
that.
I listen.
Wrong
I
with
will
that.
say, I will say this. I won the Olympia, or I'm sorry, I qualified for the Olympia, and I got more hate than applause. Okay, you know what? The hate felt louder than the applause. Let's put it that way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Same with Legion.
it was hard for me to even celebrate the fact that I just qualified for the Olympia after the craziness that I went through in 2023. And we hopped on the podcast, and Aaron, first thing he said was congratulations, but this is things that you need to improve, right? And I think I always say, man, you can sell shit. It's just all how you package it, right? So
Yes.
if that's the way, then again, you can give your critiques, right? We're all athletes. We're all grown ass men. I just think it's the way that you sell it. We give critiques on this podcast, but we try to keep things positive, right? We might say this person has a great physique, but he needs to continue to improve on this. But this is something that truly stands out that's going to take him to the next level, whatever it may be, right? Again, it's how you deliver it. But also, again, and Drew knows this, I don't have to sing a tune. We cannot let people get to us for their critiques because, again, at the end of the day, bro, it's going to bring us down. And Drew, you just stepped off stage. You have not placed outside of the top three. We were talking about that. You know, your emotions are high. I reached out. I checked in. Yeah, I know you were, you know, still kind of licking those wounds, but in the same breath, you were getting, you know, over, you know, what, you know, just happened. But nonetheless, man, like, I'm more using this as a teaching lesson for everybody out there. You know, like sometimes the negativity speaks so much louder than the positivity. Because Drew, the positive, you stepped off stage, bro, and that was probably one of the best looks that you had.
it
Like
was by far the best look I've ever had,
No,
and
that
I'm
boy
happy
looked
with
crazy.
the look.
He
The
looked
placing
good.
won't define me, but it's, you know, it's something that's a win for me. And as cliche as it sounds, you know, I did bring my best, and Ariel was so happy. It was almost to that point to where it's like, win or if I took 10th, it was like, this
yeah,
is the lights out package that they waited for. Any other show, Tyler said, you will win and qualify. You will qualify this year. But for Olympia to be competitive, you need to bring up your back because it was exposed in that lineup.
okay, and listen, and we're going to get into Miami, and I don't even know what Brian or E-Man said in the because I got on the live late, but I'm sure the critiques were simply things that you already knew, right? I think that the
It was the
delivery.
delivery, like you said. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So again, I think that again, I always say this, but we're all brothers in iron, and sometimes the brothers fight. And I know E-Man is a good guy personally. I know him. I'm not sure about Brian, but again,
No,
I just
I think they're both great guys, but I feel like, I mean, the E-Man wasn't even a part of it. I mean, he's defending Brian, and you know, it all came down to a respect thing. But I was disrespected, so I doubled down on the disrespect, and you know, I apologize for doing that. I represent Men's Physique Radio. I represent my fans, and they don't want to see that. The people that do want to see it are just drama fueled people who just want some type of reaction. And this, you know, did turn personal. Emotions are high. There's a lot of things that, you know, I could have said differently. There's a lot of things that he could have said differently. It was more or less checking them. And, you know, it's over with now. He apologized. No, I'll be a man too and say that, you know, publicly that I apologize as well for my reaction because, you know, we have to be professional. But at the end of the day, I'm a man before anything else. So when I hear things like that, it's not like I'm just gunning at every negative comment or any negative critique. it's more or less something that's consistent with a guy that I thought was cool with me, but then kind of blatantly throwing it in there. So I kind of gave it back, and it was like, okay, whatever. Now it's water under the bridge, because I think he acknowledged, what he said. And I also am acknowledging what I said now after the fact. And I just want to let it be there. And I don't have any personal problems with these guys. It was just one of those things, that heated moment. I could take advice and give advice, but sometimes in that heat of the moment, it happens. And like after the fact, you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. There's a lot of people that are watching this, screen recording it and all that,
We've
try
all
to get
done
you
it.
to bite that hook. So I bit the hook, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happened to Aaron. It
trust
happens.
me, I've had to learn. I've
Yeah.
had to learn the hard way,
Ariel tells me,
and
man, Ariel tells me, all the time, like there's a lot of things that I'm learning as a man, not just a competitor. There's a lot of things, and he doesn't try to preach. I ask him for advice, and he helps me out with that. He's a good
yeah,
friend, not just a coach, not just somebody that's guiding me. I think he has a lot of experiences. Sometimes you got to go through it. If you never went through a breakup in your life, you're not going to know how to get through it. You got to kind of just go through the bad weather, deal with it, because the sunshine's going to come out again. It's the same thing with all this negativity. Salt and sugar looks the same. People are going to throw salt when you do bad or good, and then people are going to, celebrate when you do good or bad. It just depends on the person you are. But I'm not trying to
right.
be a villain. I'm not trying to be a negative guy. People tune in and they just see what I said in that moment. And then it's a game of telephone. It goes around. It's like, well, he said this, or he's in his feelings, or he's soft, or he's got an ego. That's not the case. There was some things that led up to it, and it's been exposed and it's done with now.
Simple as that. All right, let's jump into Miami, man. There's a lot to talk
Biggest
about.
show of the year, according to Tyler. Not only the biggest show, but the most competitive men's physique division of the year so far on stage. And that's bigger than Pittsburgh, New York. We saw all these top guys. I mean, it
It,
was, let me tell you, everybody peaked in that first call out.
yeah,
Everybody peaked. Everybody I thought personally looked their best ever.
it was it was a damn show, man. And there's a lot of different storylines we got to cover, but giving flowers to everybody who stepped on stage first, because, like you said, most competitive lineup. Now, top five, I believe his name was Alessandro or something along those lines. I'm not too familiar with who he is, but I know he did place eighth in New York, made a significant improvement since then.
His back was dry.
Yeah, and to step on stage. Now, though think he has a great physique, there's no question about that. I think there was a clear difference between the top four and himself. Now, it doesn't change the fact that he brought it on this day. Again, like I said, he significantly improved, and Tyler saw that. I mean, Tyler saw him at New York. He saw him here. It was a true definition of getting in front of the same judges can also be a massive
Right.
benefit. So,
That part.
take that, as you will. But like I said, he looked phenomenal. So congratulations to him. Again, he had a decent back, decent front. I think he was just overall balanced, I guess you could say. I don't think any body part on him was necessarily a standout. Drew, with you being backstage, did you see anything that stood out?
The biggest thing that I could say about all these guys in the first call out, it was a show of backs. You're only as good as the lineup that you're in. So with all these guys having their back as their best pose, every guy, like they had good fronts, but this was a show that was decisive in the back. I mean,
Yeah.
it came down to peaking and then the back. All these guys had crazy back. I think the most impressive guy that I saw, as far as just improvements, was Deke Walker.
Yeah.
Deke looked absolutely out of this world, from
Crazy.
another planet. I
He
mean,
looked
he
crazy.
hit his peak, man, and it's one of those things where that look is going to be hard to top at any other show the rest of this year. And I told him, I go, you're getting that recognition. I've competed with Deke many times last year. I have seen him at his all-time low, getting off stage, not wondering how or why he placed where he did. Never really complained. Always just got back to work and took the feedback. And it seems like, he finally put it together with his coach, Ismail Green.
Hmm.
And I'm just really happy for him. I was the first person to congratulate him off stage. I told him, I go, it's not what you wanted. Obviously, the Olympia qualification, you bring your best look, you expect to be rewarded. But in my
Right.
eyes, just based on how he has looked, and there's still things he can improve on as far as just density in certain areas. But as far as his peak and how much he improved from last year, he was the most impressive guy that I've seen in person this year.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm going to make sure, when we talk about, second place, we give him his flowers. But like you said, he is no longer a dark horse. I've called him a dark horse now for a while at a lot of shows. This was the most conditioned, detailed grain that
Yeah, he
I've
looked
seen on a
crazy.
human being in a very long time. This man
In person, it was wild, bro. I'm telling
dude,
you
it
right
was,
now.
bro, it was,
And
it
I
was,
was peaked and I was at my best. I'm gonna tell you right now, he gave me a run for my conditioning. I'll tell
bro,
you that. I'm like, he
it,
was nasty, bro.
it was insane. And for somebody who might not have the quote unquote best structure, like
Yeah.
I have never seen something where conditioning or this level of hardness allowed him to jump so many other people who had
Yeah,
better structures
he
than he
looked
did.
like his hardness was just
Bro, it was, and
hitting.
he got better at finals.
Hitting.
Like he took 3 hours in between prejudging and finals. He just came back significantly better. Which, again, it was just
He was like transparent, bro. I'm like,
it was
top to
nuts, man.
bottom. You
He
could
was
tell in the legs, the calves. You ever see like
yeah,
when they just
yeah.
I get to
I
see
always
in
say
his
that.
legs.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I always say that. Like when
Yeesh.
no, when they're doing check-ins and stuff, and people are wearing shorts or
Yeah.
whatever,
Like
you look
how's
at their
that? How those
calves.
calves
You're like,
like? Yeah. You
eh,
know how dry they are. You can
yeah,
tell they're not dropping that water in a day if they're holding. They're not vascular in the calves. Like then
facts.
you know.
Now, again, before we get there, Ricardo Sinet, dude, looked absolutely
Let
insane.
me hit on
He
this
looks
guy.
better in
This guy
person.
right here.
Go
Let me
ahead.
tell you.
Move up to the
So
mic, bro. Move up to the mic.
he reached out to me literally in 2022. This was before I even placed second at my first Olympia, and I was looking at his physique then, bro. As I'm scrolling through these messages, like it's crazy because in 2022 I literally told him, I said, bro, because he wasn't an IFBB.
No,
He was
he
an
was 20.
IFBB
He just
elite.
got his card. Yeah. He just got his IFBB Pro card, I believe.
He's been an IFBB elite pro for a while. He's won 8 pro shows over there,
Yeah.
right? So I literally told him, I said, bro, you have to make you have to come to the States and compete as an IFBB pro. Like
Yeah.
you have to merge over. He was like, oh man, it's kind of hard right now and stuff like that. But I said, man, whenever you do, you're gonna be a problem. And
Yep.
I told him that, and I just messaged him too. I said, I told you so. And dude looked crazy. He
Bro.
looks crazy. So I just want to give him his flowers, man. He did his thing, and his shape is crazy. Once he
Yeah.
starts to figure out the posing and how to manipulate the look of his physique, oh, he's out of here.
So
He's out of here.
before we get your sideline view, Drew, just from what I've seen, and I've talked to him for a little while now. Like you said, this is not just some ordinary rookie, right? Because
No.
he is somebody who's, like you said, who's been on big stages now for a while now. Keep in mind, he's only 23 years old, right? So the
Yeah.
fact that he's this young and has already done what he has done in even just another federation, and now transitioning over here, winning every show that he's done. He's done like regional show overall. He's done a national show overall. 4th place at the most
Yeah.
competitive pro show this season. It speaks volumes of his potential, right? So when it comes to his physique in itself, elite structure. He is somebody, I believe, who's about 5'9", 5'10".
I
But
thought he was taller, but in
so did I.
person he's even
So
more
did
complete
I.
because he has longer limbs. But
Yes.
his waist in person, it's like his taper. He had the best taper on stage.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
His
and that's
waist
the
is
thing.
tiny.
And
Like
that's the
It made
thing.
my
tiny.
waist look big, and my waist is like a 28 on stage.
This
And I'm
shit
like, and I was
tiny.
angling, and he's just straight on. It's like it didn't even look right from the back. I'm like, this guy just flares out.
He has so much surface space from left to right in his upper body. It's such a strength, but it's also such a weakness because his weakness
It
in his
is.
physique is having to fill out that surface space. But he's so wide that he can literally face front and still have the smallest waist on stage. And again,
Guess who that reminds me of?
Corey Morris.
Corey, yeah, I was going to say
Yes.
Corey
I was
Morris.
gonna say he's like Corey Morris. Like he's
100%.
yeah, he's got like the longer limbs, but he's just got really small bone structure in the hips, but
Yeah.
wide clavicles. Once he puts that together and brings that fullness and just that bubbly look, he's gonna be somebody
He's gonna
that
be crazy.
I would
He's
love to
gonna be
see him
crazy.
pose like Corey then.
his
Yeah.
Like,
posing, I believe, posed him out of the top 3.
I agree.
I
I
think
mean,
Very
that
true.
even
I
in
Very
his
think
true.
back
that
shot.
he had the best back.
Yeah, he did. I think his posing
He
in his
had the
back
best back.
shot threw him off. I mean, I
I
covered
think
his.
with his posing, and I think if he would have came drier, Buddy would have been pushing more than a top 3. He
Oh
would have
yeah,
been pushing top 2. Like if he was drier and knew the posing, oh, he out of there.
bro.
Out of there.
I'm looking at it now, and
Just imagine.
I look at
I don't
these
Imagine.
know, man.
pictures while I break it down too,
Yeah,
and
because like,
I
listen,
was there in person, and it's just like you're sitting there right on the sideline on stage with them, and then backstage they had a TV, so we're watching it and we're just seeing it all
I have to
unfold.
say
And
this. I'm just going to simply say this. Best back on stage. Again, probably the best structure. No, definitely the best structure on stage.
Yes.
Needs to fix his posing. He needs to continue to fill out his chest. He's 23 years old. This is going to come with time.
Time.
His conditioning was very, very good. Obviously, standing next to Deke Walker, anybody will be exposed with conditioning, but yet and still he held his own. And honestly, for a pro debut, like this might just be one of the most impressive pro debuts.
there's a lot of rookies of the season, man. I'll tell you
Oh
that
yeah,
this year. There's a
oh
lot. I
yeah,
There's
don't
a
even know
lot
who to
of
give it
rookies
to because
pushing.
it's not even over yet, and we're just starting.
Sheesh.
So
yeah.
pro
And then,
debuts this year, man, have been wild for a lot of guys.
and I'll say this, man. Like again, Ricardo, congratulations, brother. You looked absolutely insane. And
Absolutely.
I know I spoke with him. You know, he's already hinted at doing additional shows. I truly believe this man can qualify. I truly believe that this man will qualify. He'll have the best
Got to
back in
find
any
the
show
right
that he
show.
does.
Got to find the
Best
right
structure.
show.
Exactly. He finds the right show. He's going to qualify. Now jumping to third place. Now Brandon Cantaloupes, if I'm not mistaken, placed second at Optimum. He's gotten better as well since then.
I thought he was gonna get top two.
So did
Even
I.
fuller, even fuller.
So
I
did I. He
thought
was
he was gonna
fuller.
get top two.
His back was
He,
significantly
he
fuller.
looked he looked fucking damn good.
Yes, he
When
did.
he and I'm gonna tell you this, him and I think Deke Walker had the best fucking tans on stage. Everybody else tan looked like a little weird, but the tan that
I
Brandon had,
noticed mine
that
compared to these
shit
guys
was
how it looked
cold.
off too.
Brandon looked. He was for me like the all around complete look for men's physique. From the tan, he definitely worked on his posing. Hey,
100%.
congratulations on
The
that.
shorts look
Hey,
good. Everything
I
man,
really
was
want to
nailed.
point that out. Your ass really went back to that drawing board and started working on that posing. So
Yes,
my
he
hat's
did.
tipped to you, brother.
Yes, he
Keep doing
did.
what you're doing, man, and chase that qualification. But
See, hold on.
there's nothing he can. There's nothing you can do with, like I said, that Deke Walker and that Vitor right in front of him. But man, you're pushing a whole lot of people, and I guarantee it. You're gonna be someone who's
Got
just
two
as
new rookies that are placing ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? And I brought
yeah.
my best. I mean, that's to me, it's really impressive to see these guys. And this is no ego whatsoever with me. I brought my absolute best. These guys were better than me, and that says a lot with how much I've put in to the sport already,
Right.
as far as all the shows that I've done and consistently improved. They're placing here with Tyler Mannion as head judge. There's so much
Yeah.
potential, and they're just getting started. That's what's wild.
You know, I got a question for you guys. I know the answer, but I'm really curious to know what you would say to this. What would you say if you were Tyler Mannion? What would be his feedback?
For Brandon,
Yeah.
muscle
Upper
maturity.
chest, push the shoulders, continue to push the back, and again, polish the posing. He got really like literally, it was night and day on the posing. But again, even like I always refer back to my pro week rookie year, like my posing progressively got better. It was horrible, then it got somewhat horrible better, and then it got better, and then it got better, and then it just became that. So if he continues to work hard, man, and which I know he's going to do, he's gonna be deadly for
So
some
this
people.
is, this is how I look at it. Your feedback is going to be based off of who you're on stage next to that day. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
had guys like Vitor, who was the most complete head to toe,
Yes.
fullness, complete as far as the posing, the front to back. Then you had Deke, who was the most peaked condition guy who's peeled but doesn't have the best structure. Then you have Brandon, who's in between complete, and then in between like not being as conditioned or grainy as Deke, but
Yeah.
close. So that's
Yeah.
why I
True.
kind of put him right there. Now, as far as Ricardo, I think he has the best structure and the most potential, but he needs to be more filled out. Brandon's full across here. Ricardo's longer limbs, just a different shape. But it's there's certain things. There's apples and oranges. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Ricardo, with his posing, posed him out of that top three. But as far as how the show was judged and who was on stage, like for example, me placing out of the top five came down to back.
Yeah. I will say this. His feedback, real quick, was, believe it or not, more conditioned. And so I think you're 100% accurate where it says it's who you stand next to, because let's be real, at 90% of shows, this is one of the most conditioned, if not top 2, 3 on stage.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
typically that would get you the show, or at least, in that. Now, you said something that was got me thinking. Every physique in this top call out is very different. Obviously,
Every single one of them.
Ricardo is obviously speaks for itself. Insane structure. Nobody has a structure like him. That's probably his number one attribute, or you can say his back. Right now, when it comes to Deke Walker, conditioning. When it comes to Vitor, I think you said overall balance, which is why he's finished where he did. And I think Brandon, again, same thing, man. I think he was generally complete too. That's why I personally at first had him in second until I saw Deke come back at finals. Now, I put a poll up, and we talked about this briefly on one of the last podcasts. What did we reign supreme? Structure, conditioning, and then muscle maturity or muscle
Structure. That's
muscle
where it all
mass.
begins. Structure.
We all said structure, right? Now the poll all mainly said conditioning, structure, muscle mass in that order, right? I think that's more of a novice answer because because don't get me wrong, conditioning is like wow to look at, right?
It is wow.
So
But
nobody's doubting that, but I think more novice people will say that order with conditioning first versus structure first, because it's more of what their eyes are appealed to, I guess, when they look, when they look. So, but
no, they see that because of fucking Instagram and social media. When people post these conditioning shots, that shit, it's the wacky look. Like, who's gonna look the wackiest? Oh, he's the most conditioned. Like, that shit's gonna win a show. No, it's not. It's totally not.
It may be more impressive to other people watching based on what they would want to look like, but the shows aren't judged on that. I know based on the men's physique criteria, just by looking at something, the overall look. You might not have the most conditioned guy win a show. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the overall look and who you're standing next to. That's why the lineups do matter.
Look, let's be real here. Vitor was probably the least conditioned of the top 4. Let's be
and
real.
We'll get to.
And he didn't have the best back, right? He might have been the most full. We got to give him that. And he's probably had the most balanced, arguably. But I think
wait, don't start that. Let's finish that after we finish Deke and then Vitor, because I want to ask a question like, why do you think? And we can go back to this question. I'm just going to say it. Why do you think they picked Vitor over Deke?
All right. So well, first
we'll answer that.
We gave Deke his flowers again. Best peak to date. Actually, before we get to Deke,
he looked phenomenal.
I spoke with Brandon, bro, and hopefully he's okay with me putting this out there. I don't think he would mind, but he said he's going to stop this season. I was like, bro,
what?
I do not think you could.
Tripping.
I was like, bro,
he tripping.
He told me the same thing, and it's one of those things that maybe he's going through the post-show blues.
That's
you go in and you're on a high horse and you come in, you're sucking at your pro debut and, kind of ending center, it kind of sets you up for an expectation. And when you don't hit that expectation, it's hard. It's hard to swallow. It is.
It's extremely
hard. And I
hard.
said, I understand what it is, but he's new to that feeling. So he has to go through it. Sometimes it knocks you down a little bit, but I know that he's the type of guy that will come back from this even stronger, because look at how much he's already accomplished. He's right there. He's going to qualify. He's as good as already being an Olympian. It's just a matter of continuing.
Absolutely. I hope he hears this before he gets too chunky, but
I know he blows up, dude. He gets big in his offseason. I don't know how he made that cap.
Down and comes back towards the end of the year with a few shows left, or maybe tries to qualify for 2025.
Do not shut it down.
I think you should have did DC. I think you should have, or Mile High. Mile High, I think, is pretty wide open.
I said the same thing, bro.
Or Toronto. I'm doing it, but I'm always down for the competition. Like the goals to qualify, but it is what it is. Like, I'm always down for it. But like I said earlier, you got to be strategic. You don't know always, because how the shows are now. You can't wait. The list comes out, and we don't even know what the list is, and we kind of speculate who's going to be on it. But people aren't being able to see who's on the list before doing it, so we really don't know. But I think that any show that Brandon would have done out of all 4 of those, he would be a front runner based on his track record so far. So I hope that he doesn't stop either. I want to see his hard work pay off. I think he's right there. I think that
Come
the
on,
biggest
man.
thing
You don't
is
want to
that,
have a rookie season where it's just, you want to
yeah,
have a killer rookie season,
that's what I'm
man.
saying, man.
And that's what I'm a pride myself on my rookie season. I killed that shit and I love it. You know what I mean? So, man, do not
He's got an E
stop
Banks track record
competing,
right now. He's got an E Banks
bro.
track record. Think about it. Think about it.
He's just heating up.
Yeah.
So,
A
boy,
second
if
and
you
third.
don't, he crazy.
It took me
Brandon, if you
4
hear this,
years to get a
boy,
third.
look, you better put your contract in next week before.
I'm a
What's
forge
next
it
week?
for him.
What's next week?
What's after India, Alex? What's the following lineup?
We have St. Pete.
It's not St. Pete. That is St. Pete.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be stacked too. I know Deke's doing that. I know Alex is doing that. You're only getting better. I mean, there's a lot of guys that aren't qualified either. I mean, you got Spoon that's coming out. I saw his update the other day. I mean, these guys are looking good, man. I mean, I'm excited. You know, I want to get my ticket too, but I'm a fan. I like watching this stuff. I like seeing these guys come in. This is the strongest year of men's physique, in my opinion. Not even my opinion. It is. You know, you heard it in Tyler's voice. Strongest lineup. It's only getting better. You got guys that are structurally complete, like Ali, and they're peaking perfectly. And all these shows are getting stronger, stronger, stronger. And these guys are really just excelling every show. People are getting better, not worse. And that's what's making it very, very difficult for other guys, other Olympians, to get their ticket.
Absolutely, bro.
This is gonna be exciting. This is exciting, man. This is
I know I get hyped every week for this, man. It keeps me in peak week. I'm like forever in peak week. It's like I keep wanting to get at it. Like it's motivating for me, and I can only imagine like a rookie season. I'm like, my outbreak season was last year, and it's like Brandon still has a better track record so far, second and a third place. I mean, you got guys like Dustin Alves who had what three seconds in a row. You got Ricardo that just comes out of the gate the strongest lineup and takes fourth. And to be honest, his posing was not the best. So he just makes a little tweak like that. He goes into a show. He's as good as getting that qualification.
very true. Very true.
More.
So
Now
we want to ask you that
we got to
question?
talk Vitor. Aaron, where's your head at?
It was not his best look. From the look to even his posing was off. It just wasn't the Vitor that we saw in previous big shows. But he does have that look, and having a full chest is going to get it, just being full in general and having that shape
The
of
best chest on stage.
For men's physique, it's still hard because it's not like his conditioning was off, but it may not have been the best. But again, he still edged those guys out. And I wanted to ask you guys, and maybe we can put a poll up to where, again, that same question. Why do you think they chose Vitor over Deke? Because I didn't see Deke far behind from the fullness at all either. You know what I mean? So I've tried to wrap my head around it, but
I think it came down to individual body parts, right? So not looking at the whole as far as, okay, structure goes to Vitor, fullness goes to Vitor. Deke was still full, but not as full as Vitor, or as full as as full as Vitor. Deke didn't have as good as a back as Vitor. He was peeled and he showed more lines, but overall density, lat width, it was just Vitor dominated in the back.
He has the structure. He does. Vitor, even though he's a fuller guy, he still does have that great
just
structure
complete. You can't really knock him for anything other than, like you said, posing or maybe a peaking off 5%. You can't actually break down a certain muscle on Vitor and say he needs more work with this, other than maybe saying keep his abs tighter. But as far as structure, everything's there: chest, shoulders, arms, back insertions, upper trap, lower trap, the balance, the calves, the legs. You can't really pick him apart. Now, Deke, there's things that you could pick apart, right? Has a wider waistline. The taper isn't as significant. From the back, peeled beyond belief, but as far as being compared to Vitor, he lacks the density through the upper and the center.
I agree. I
In
think
comparison,
that Vitor, like you said, but he was the most balanced on stages, no question. I don't think he was what he was in New York, but I also think that this was a version of him that was enough to get the job done. You know, I think it was
absolutely.
a very close battle though between him, Brandon, and then him and Deke. You know, I think
Deke got harder as he posed. Brandon stayed the same, but Deke, like after prejudging, like they did another round, like with the top four, he kept getting better. Like I was watching it on the monitor and then just seeing him backstage, like just peeled, like so hard, grainy. Just it just was the difference between Brandon and Deke. I think Brandon still has a better back and more of a complete look than Deke, but Deke edged him out with the conditioning and the graininess.
guys, I need a second real quick.
You're good.
There might be an emergency. You won't believe it.
What happened?
You really might not believe this shit. I cannot find in my email the validation for signing up for the show when I know I did.
I was wondering why you were being so quiet.
It was like
Man.
this is wild right now.
Do you
bro.
remember like putting it in
Yes.
and okay. So you
Yes,
should be good. If you
absolutely.
put it in and you verified it, I always screenshot stuff because
I,
sometimes it doesn't go to my
I,
email.
I usually do too, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm
See,
looking.
sometimes I'm like, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
You get to thinking and you're
Screenshot.
like, wait,
That's what I started thinking. I was just like, let me just make sure. But then I'm looking in the IFBB thing, and I'm like,
imagine being there and then
bro,
realizing that it didn't confirm.
I'm like sitting here like, wait a minute. I'm like my email. I don't see it in my email, and like, you know how you go to the new IFBB site, and it's like my
The only thing you're
contracts.
gonna have to do right now is email the info at
There's no.
ifbbproleague.com or something.
I'm like, I'm seriously at a loss for words right now, if that's the case. And after all these flights, guys,
What?
this is real life right now. This is real life right now. Give me a second.
Well,
Give me a second. You guys carry this. You
go
got it.
ahead. Do what you got to do.
Yo, shit.
Do what you got to do. But since Alex got to figure out his life over there, that's nuts. And see, again, like these are some of the things that bodybuilders have to go through. You know what I mean? And being in prep, the high stress, that it is so much that men go through. And again, it is Men's Mental Health Month in June. So
Nope.
post
Mental
share
health
it,
awareness.
comment it. Like men need help around this world. I'm not saying Alex needs help, but I'm just saying it's just like we go through so much, and especially bodybuilders when we start mixing chemicals in our bodies and shit like that. So he could have forgot that he signed up. You just you never know. You never know, man. And hopefully he gets that figured out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to just come back and be like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. He's got it.
Yeah, that could be rough.
Yeah.
But let's talk about you, man. How do you feel like just after your placing, or how did you feel about the show in general?
So I thought it was way better than optimum as far as my traveling. Got there early. The biggest thing that I was in control of was
Right.
getting there early and making sure that I maximized my peak. Leading up to the show, stress free, had all my food, everything relaxed. Peak went perfect, and I was obviously disappointed with how I placed. I mean, I'm not in control of that, but when I
Right.
got to see the videos and the photos, they don't lie. It was my best look that I ever had. Ariel was able to talk to me. We embrace the weaknesses that we have. Tyler gave me feedback. He says, just in this show, being a strong lineup, you just need more back. And that's what we
Yeah.
know. We all
Yep.
know that. I need more back. I get it. But it comes down to being strategic with the shows that I'm picking now. The goal is to qualify for the Olympia and have 16 weeks to improve that back. So next time I'm in front of Tyler, Steve, all the top judges, they're going to see an improvement in my back. And
Yep.
that's what the goal is. I came too far to hang it up right now. A lot of people that follow me know that I get better under pressure and with time, and peaking and finding different strategies to be better each show is the name of the game, and it helps you learn a lot about yourself and then obviously your physique. And Ariel knows more about my physique too, and just we're not done yet. We're not finished. And I asked Tyler specifically, I said, should I just hang it up and then focus on bringing my back up? He goes, oh no, you have more in you. You could qualify this year easily. His exact words. And if Tyler didn't think I had it, he would not be saying that to me.
No, he
You
ain't,
know,
he don't.
so
He ain't gonna. No, he ain't gonna pump your head up like that.
yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things to where the placing I didn't allow to find my look. You know, I try to not let it control my mood, even though it does. You know, even if I took second place, it would still be the same feeling, right?
Yeah.
But you know, we just didn't execute what the goal was, and I'm completely fine with it. These guys look absolutely crazy. You could definitely see in the lineup that my back was not up to par with the top four. I held my own in the front, but like I said, this was a show of backs. You had very complete full
I know
backs
you. You
from
definitely
the
held your
top to
own.
bottom.
They turned you. They turned y'all twice, and you still stayed there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I think that third turnaround, they had moved you off to the
because Deke
right,
was
and I'm
getting
like,
harder, and they switched me
yeah,
with Deke, and they moved Deke right in, and that was
yeah,
the thing. He was getting harder as he posed, and I was starting to fade a little bit. I started to sweat. I also want to give a shout out to Stephen Cow. It was also his first show back in a
yeah.
little over a year. You know, he did
Wow.
DC last year. Another guy that, you know, just it's a peaking thing, trying to figure out, you know, how we can just be better. And especially when you take that time off, you know, there's not many guys that can come out the gate and completely nail that look the first time out. The guys that can do that, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not one of them, but the guys that can do that, shout out to them. You know, you got Brandon's, you got Ricardo's, you got, you know, even Vitor. You know, it still took him a lot of shows, but he
Yeah.
was very consistent with his placings. And I think that Vitor's best look still was New York Pro. I think that was the best Vitor that we ever seen. But it goes to
Yeah.
show that even in a lineup to where everybody's peaked, a Vitor at 95% could still hold his own. You know, so
Hold it.
it does come down to the structure at the end of the day. Like everything is going to be structurally based. You know, you could always fill out, but you can't always, you know, digress a certain body part if your waist is too big. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
certain things that you just can't change about your shape.
Can't.
Um, that's what it's about, man. But there's I'm doing Toronto on Sunday.
Oh,
Canada
that's a
shows are
Sunday show.
always Sunday. Yeah. So
I
I can
hate
weigh in
Sunday shows,
Friday.
which was
The thing
crazy.
is
I
with me, it's good.
see. My first Sunday show would be the Dubai Pro. I didn't know it was even on a Sunday, but it's on a Sunday.
I didn't know that either.
It's crazy.
At least it's not a 2-day event. You know, you're not going to peak twice.
Yeah. I've never had to do that either, and I don't ever wish to do that.
No, just go there and
I've seen that.
show
I'm
out.
like, yeah, no, because who didn't Pittsburgh do that?
Yeah, I think so. Pittsburgh was 2 days
Yeah, that's rough right there.
to sleep in
That,
the same tan like for 3 nights. So it's like the night before the show, the day of, and then you got another day, and then getting touched up. And I can only imagine that hotel room.
give me
It
the
didn't look-
verdict.
Oh, bro, they ain't gonna be a verdict. I hopefully get one tonight. We emailed the IFBB. My God, bro, it's not looking good. I don't know if it's just like, honestly, I have no idea. I have
Well,
no idea.
I'm being as hopeful as possible. So
Well, hopefully,
hopefully we can laugh about this in a couple hours.
hopefully you get to go. But I do have a question. I want your thoughts.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Andre?
Yes. Listen, first, I'm just happy he's okay. All right, that's first things first. I'm not sure kind of what the repercussions or what he did. I know when it comes to the final stages of a dieting, you know, it can get a little bit aggressive, especially the dehydration aspect of things. But he's a veteran, man. He's been doing this for a long time. You know, he had to make a call he believed that was best for him. And, you know, when you aren't going to the bathroom, there's a good chance that your look is not where it needs to be in those final days. He looked good leading up. But I will say it sucked. You know, I wanted to see him step on stage bad. I thought that
same.
I thought that him and Vitor were going to battle it out. You know, but I also think I'm curious. I'm seriously curious to know where he would have ended up.
Like, where would y'all have? Okay, now that
That's
the
hard.
placings are out,
I can't even
where
do
would
that.
you guys have placed him? Where would you have placed him?
Man.
Because you got Brandon, who got crazy front with his waist and his obliques. Then you got the new kid Ricardo with one of the tiniest waists, crazy back. So it'll kind of match Dre's back. Ricardo got a tiny waist. Who else is it? Deke was just overly hard. I haven't seen Dre that conditioned or hard in a while. So it's like,
So
where
who
would you
would
have
Dre
placed?
have beaten out? I think that I would have had Dre fourth. Based on this lineup, you had guys with smaller waists, and you know that
And I would
Dre's waist
say
looks a little
fourth
bigger.
too, just because one, Dre is a vet. Two, Dre know how to pose. Three, it Dre would have beat Ricardo. Unfortunately, it just is what it is.
That's where I
So
would have had him. I would have had him four in replace of Ricardo. I think that Brandon has more of a mainstream physique than Andre with the waist to shoulder ratio. Andre has one of the best backs, but I think that Deke would have overpowered him with conditioning and just the overall hardness because everybody had something that the other guy didn't have.
yes,
I agree.
So this is just speculation. This is just what I would think. Like, I love Andre's physique. He's my favorite men's physique competitor. I was really bummed out when he wasn't able to do it, but you guys got to understand that health is the most important thing in this sport, and longevity is a very important thing. And Andre's put his years in and time, and in order for him to be at the next level and continue to do this, he has to make sure that his health is good. And I'm glad that he made that decision. But ultimately, you guys know how much I admire Dre and everything that he's done in this sport. And I wanted that comparison on stage. I'm not saying I would have beat the guy. I'm not saying any of that. I just wanted a comparison just to have
yeah.
that picture. Like, it just would have been super dope to be next to a guy that I inspired to, I was always a fan of him. I still am a fan of him. And, I'm grateful to say he's a friend, it's cool. But at the end of the day, I think he made the best decision. I can't just be selfish and say, wow, I just wish he did it
So
because I wanted a picture. But I did want that comparison, but I'm sure that he'll get back and we'll have that comparison soon.
so where do y'all think he goes from here? Does he take the rest of the year off, or you guys think he's coming back?
Nah, he'll do another show.
He'll be back. I think he'll take maybe a couple months off and just make sure that his mind's right and he knows what to do. He's done so many shows, and this is just one off show, and his body wasn't responding.
But with that being said, there's not many more shows left, and there's 4 this weekend. That's gonna take the U.S. shows to 7
Yeah.
or 6.
There's Tampa. He's known to do really well in Tampa. I think he has 3 Tampa
Yep.
Pro titles.
Yeah, but guess who's doing Tampa?
Aria,
At Sadiq too.
Sadiq. Sadiq's also doing Chicago. So you got to think, like,
I heard
okay.
Brandon Hendrickson is doing Chicago.
I heard that too, but he's also told me that he wasn't. So it's kind of one of those things where he's always playing peekaboo. I think he wants to either get in people's heads or maybe he's just really contemplating it. I don't know his strategy.
I thought he was doing Dubai. Like, I'm so confused.
I thought so too. I talked to him at the Arnold, and he was kind of like, "Oh yeah, for the bag," and it's just kind of like one of those. I'll stop real quick and make some bullshit talk, and just bullshitting around. Like, he's just kind of that way. So I've done it too. There's shows that I planned on doing that I never did that I told people I was doing. You don't have things set in stone usually. When you're qualified for life like Banks, you don't really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you just strategize, I guess, and pick what you think is going to be best for your fan base or, whatever your goal is. Like Alex going to India or Aaron going to Dubai. I mean, a lot of these things are good moves as far as for your fan base and just overall marketing, and obviously the title of it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, we're doing all this troubleshooting right now just in case that list is going to come out.
Hilarious. I'm weak.
It's wild, man. Oh my God.
Wasn't expected that.
No. Wait, all right, well, let's see. Worst case scenario, what shows are next week? What are we doing? This is the week 2. This is the week with all shows.
Yeah. If you weren't doing India, what show would you have done?
I don't like DC Pro lighting. It probably would have been Toronto or Mile High.
I know Toronto is your original plan, I thought, when you were talking about
it was going to be
Miami.
Toronto or Mile High.
I chose to do Toronto because I did Mile High last year and I wanted to do a different show. Plus I have a lot of fans in Canada, believe it or not. I never even knew that. But when I posted I was doing Toronto Pro, literally people were like, "Oh my God, can't wait to see you at the show." And you also have it's like a super show, so you got a pro qualifier too.
It's
So you
a
got a lot of
massive show.
amateurs that are just really, really motivated, that follow our podcast and all that. And I did want to say this: when I did Miami this past weekend, the amount of people that introduced themselves to me backstage, getting tanned, just random people too in the audience. How many people follow and love Men's Physique Radio?
Dude,
It's insane. It's insane, man. Just what we do. I met your mom, Alex. Like, she's super supportive. I met your dad. Like, great people. I mean, she's so into this. Reminds me a lot about my mom too. I mean, just the support from everybody there that really is behind us. I mean, I love it. It's insane. I would have never thought that this would happen, but
It's hilarious. Yeah, my pops was like, man, that show y'all got funny as hell, son. I'm like,
yeah,
man, I didn't even know you was watching it.
yeah,
it's insane.
yeah,
It's crazy.
The love, just what we have going on here, bro. Like I said it before, but this really just stems from an idea, and to kind of see the impact it's having early, it's really cool.
Literally.
I think that we can even announce it here. I mean, we just got booked for a in-person live podcast appearance.
Yep.
Super sick.
You guys understand, like, this is so new. This is such a platform for us. We just get on here, talk our shit, and have a good time, right? We're people who care and have similar interest. And because of that, people are noticing, and it's helping a lot of people also. There's people right now doing their cardio watching this, and
Literally.
time is flying by.
Hey, shout out to them people out there doing their cardio, man, because they be like, "Oh, the cardio, I'm doing my
Amp
cardio,
that
man. This
shit
is wasting
up.
my time." Hey,
Yeah.
y'all make sure that's on that incline. 8.
Hands
Make
off.
sure it's at
Hands off.
speed 3.5. God dang it.
Oh man, nah, but seriously, it's something special what we're doing here, and I think the coolest part is like the brotherhood that we're all getting. When I met Drew for the very first time, it felt like I knew him already. It's like we were shooting the shit like it's nothing. And I know Aaron. I know we talked. We met a few times, but like it's gonna be different now. I just think like the connection is already
Totally
different. But again, I'm excited to continue to do what we're doing here. Now, Drew, my question to you, man, is like you're doing Toronto, all right? I'm a firm believer. I don't know too many people doing the show. I know a few, but I'm a firm believer in my
I think
head.
the only person that I would think that would do that show because he's from there is Chevy.
Chevy's doing it. Tyler Smith is doing it, and I'm guessing Stephen Cowell's going to do DC because I know he's been in that conversation.
I asked him and he said possibly. He just, I think, wanted to kind of just catch his bearing after that show. I don't know like what his mindset was or what the plan was for him, but I think he said he was planning on doing DC, but he's like, oh, I don't know yet. That was kind of after Miami. So I mean, I don't know too many guys doing any of these shows. Like I said, Toronto is on Sunday, so it gives me more time to load up and more time to fill out even more. I mean, obviously from Optimum to Miami, I improved a lot just with overall fullness. If we could bring in the same fullness and I could show that to Becky, who judged me in Optimum, who said I needed to be fuller, I think that we could seal the deal there. Never know who could show up. Obviously, so far this year, it's been pretty rocky for me as far as placings, but my look is improving. And when my look improves, I know that the consistency shows. And I think that any show is as good as mine as it is to anybody else who's really putting in the work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
You just got to continue to do what you do. Your time coming. I mean, you ain't far off. You know what I mean? Again, just keep pushing that back. Do them behind the neck pull down.
Did them today. I did them today. Yep.
Hey, that's gonna target that upper. You know what I mean? And a lot of people always ask me like, "Man, do you do traps? Do you do traps?" I don't train traps, but my face pulls, my behind the neck lat pull downs, I can activate my traps a little bit when I do rear pec flies when I'm hitting the rear delts. So it's just certain exercises that to throw into play with getting that pop.
Feeling it, mind muscle connection too, thinking about it. No momentum, no swinging, just really locking it in, taking the arms out of it. A lot of things that, I'm obviously first day back training today. was back day, so I'm right back to it. I'm putting all those extra calories into my back. Obviously I'm not going to grow new tissue right away, but
Overnight, yeah.
there are things that, I could trigger to really just bring out maybe a little bit more detail, or just kind of break it down more. So when I do carb up, I'm just fuller in those areas that I'm lacking.
Whew. I think I got some good news. I have to tell you guys off the podcast though.
Oh Lord, look at him.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Oh my God, man. The cortisol
That would
level is
be.
spiked.
I already
Relax, think
know.
positive.
I already know.
No, but I'll say this, and I want to make this clear. Um, I've been getting some shit, like I talked to you. I think Aaron, you joined the live, and I think you commented a little bit. And I want to make this clear,
Oh yeah.
like guys, people don't know this. Ben has been one of my closest friends in bodybuilding. A lot of people don't know this. They see a lot of this talking back and forth between him and I. But what people don't see is Ben at my house, Ben staying at my apartment for a very long time to get prepared for the Olympia, him training with me last year, putting me in a better mental place, going through a lot of this stuff. So I know what you guys see. I see a lot of back and forths. And, Ben has definitely been somebody who I've gotten in like heightened screaming matches with in person. But he's also been somebody who's also given me pieces of knowledge too. So our relationship, I'm not gonna say it's love, hate, but it's always been one of those that's, I think it's just his personality. If you know Ben, right?
It's acquired. You either love or
Yeah,
hate the guy. Like, it's one of those things where I've never had a problem with him. There's some shit that I disagree with, but you know, he's like an extendo clip. He'll keep going and going and going, fighting his opinion with yours, and that's the thing. Like, that's what makes him Ben. So I love Ben. Ben's a good dude. I mean, he knows his shit, but there's some things I disagree with. But it is what it is.
again, and we kind of got into it and on live the other day, and I just want to make it clear, like bodybuilding gives me an opportunity to do what I love on a daily basis. I could shut it down right now. I qualified for the Olympia, man. Like my goal for this season was to
Facts.
qualify for the Olympia, but I also have another goal of making sure that I learn my physique and test my physique, and also, motherfucker, I love competing. Like I told Drew the second I stepped off stage at Optimum, I was not satisfied with my look. I qualified, and all I can think about is getting better because I just didn't feel that version of me that I truly put that effort in consistently to bring, and also the versions of me that was leading into the show. It just didn't show on that day. So when people, are bringing up he's going to India because he, just wants to go lesser competition, I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I qualified for the Olympia. Like,
Seriously.
I don't need to, I don't need to go against anybody else anymore because it doesn't matter.
At
I'm
all.
spending a lot of money to travel to another country, but there's a reason for it because I get a chance to experience bodybuilding in another light. I get a chance to broaden my coaching business as well as my new board short business. I get an opportunity to embrace the culture of what is India bodybuilding, which we have all raved and talked about, and seeing how they treat, just their fans or their athletes over there. This is what I love and want to do. I've always wanted to explore. I'm young. I have no kids right now. I don't have to, think about all of that or leaving my wife behind or anything like that because she gets to travel the world with me doing what I love. So I'm going to embrace that as we continue to go through this. 'Cause like I said, I want to compete as many international shows as I possibly can. So I just wanted to make that really clear because I know a lot of people have been asking me, "Hey, why are you doing India? Why are you doing India?" And I wanted to make it very clear. I tried to make it clear on that live, but I know Aaron got something to say.
Just do your thing, man. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna have something to say about your own life. You know what I mean? Bro, I ain't gonna speak too much on it, but continue to do what you do. Like I said, I told you back when you did the New York Pro, you will be on that stage standing next to me very soon. So that's the goal, and that you should be stepping towards is getting better. Yes, you're gonna have certain different opportunities that you get to travel and go to other countries and do what you do. No other grown man should ever question you or check you on what you do with your personal life. You know what I mean? So just do what you do, bro.
I love it. And Aaron, with you being what 7 weeks out,
8 weeks out, baby.
yeah, man. Like you, after going through what you went through last season, we talked about it briefly, but where are you at mentally right now? And you know, just in preparation for. I'm not gonna say. You know what? Yeah, this is your redemption year too.
It is. You know, to be honest, man, I've probably had the most clearest mindset going into a prep. Of course, after placing third, of course, after losing the Legion, you know, but it's given me so much like clarity on what I need to do, how I need to do certain things, how I respond. But my mentality and my mindset right now, man, is just focused. You know, I don't let shit get to me right now, you know, and again, like we were talking about it before with Drew going through what he had to go through, like, those comments don't mean nothing to me anymore. You know, I've learned to block it out, and that's truly helped me because usually Evanks is popping off, talking this shit, you know, saying who pulling up, who doing this, ain't nobody fucking with me, but you know what I mean? That's cool. I still got that fire. Don't get it fucked up. I still got that fire, but it's just within myself and what I want to do and how I want to portray it and spill it to the world. You know what I mean? I'm just working my ass off, man. And again, you guys see it. People see it around the world. I'm just so fucking locked in right now to the point to where I've said it before. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary.
I like
So the updates are looking crazy. The body's crazy right now. Man, I was 234 yesterday. So
dropping.
it's the freaky factor is coming. You know what I mean? And what's crazy, we just started today, like Hardner. So the way my body looks now versus what it's about to look like,
Yeah. So now you got to be
I
on
can't
new level.
register it in my brain how it's going to look. So, you know, that gives me the exciting factor to stay motivated and do what I do. But yeah, I'm locked in, bro.
I have a question for both of you guys. I mean, you guys are obviously coached by one of the most renowned coaches in this division, in this industry in general. And every show, there's no question you're going against at least 3-4 of their guys. Does that ever rub you? I'm not gonna say rub you the wrong way, but like, how is that for you guys? Like, how is it going against? I'm not gonna say your teammates, but like people who you also know was coached by, again, somebody else who's one of the best in the world.
I tell you right now, a lot of people don't like it secretly, but I'm not saying no words.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's just, I mean, if you want to be the best, you're going to be coached by the best. And to be honest, you're being coached by someone who has a Mr. Olympia and someone who has a 2-time Arnold Classic champion. You know, some guys feel a certain way, may feel like, oh, he's giving me a little bit more attention than others. He don't give me no damn attention at all. Like, I be texting like, bro, text me back, god dang it. But you know, it's just it's for me, I love it because again, if I'm being coached by the best coach and he got the best athletes, don't you think that should trigger you to get better and be better with the best team in the world?
Exactly.
Not feel a certain type of way or like Sean, like shoo people away because of the certain aspect of him having certain caliber athletes on his team. You know what I mean? So for me, it doesn't bother me. It motivates me. Like when he picked up Corey, I was like, oh shit, like we got very similar. He's a tall guy. He's very similar. Like, okay, let's see what this do. You know, and me and Corey, we good, you know, so we talk our little shit back and forth, but it's just our competitive nature, and we don't, it ain't no conflict like that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how, and it's kind of like how Omar had Ray and Dre and everybody else, you know? So you'll get those athletes to where some athletes may feel a certain way, but for me, I embrace it because I want to be around the best people in the industry. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around average people. I want to be on people who's in the first call out. Oh, we know Cuts guys in the first call outs. Oh, he on my team. Let's go salute. You see what I'm saying? So it's all love over here for me.
Respect. You guys want to run through some questions?
Absolutely.
We can.
do it.
Yep.
All right. What are your favorite color board shorts to wear on stage?
Ooh.
So for me, the biggest thing that I learned is they have to have a band that's black, because
Facts.
Small waist.
if they don't, my waist looks bigger and it takes away from my physique. So if I wear lighter colored board shorts, the band, I feel like it sticks out more from the backdrop. So black board shorts, plus they stay a little bit cleaner. But I always liked black, and I liked any sort of light blue. I think for me, it highlights the tan, the pop, everything. For me, that's what I always liked. I don't always wear those, but I always kind of switch them up. But for me, I think it complements everything the most. And obviously, you got to take into account the backdrop and the colors and the theme and all that. But I like always just black and blue.
For me, man, I'm a colorful dude. I wear all types of colors. It really don't matter. But I do have to have that black waistband, and that's one thing. Cut has always like, yo, get a black waistband, and it's just even like him and Chula, why does he have to have a black waistband? His waist is already small. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, make it look smaller with the black one.
The illusion with the small waist is definitely that black banner on those board shorts. But probably my favorite shorts I probably have ever competed in will probably have to be the Boston Pro ones. I think they were the Tycoons. Those are still my favorite. They were blue, and still one of my favorite shorts to date. Still,
I personally, I never would have said this. I love the red ones, man. Like,
That's what I was gonna say. It made everything pop more, bro. Red looked good on you.
So, red. If I step on stage in India,
make sure you wear red.
Don't switch them. Just keep them red.
I'm gonna keep it simple, bro. So definitely gonna rock with the red. What's the most weight you've gained in 24 hours post show?
I think about 15.
15.
It's about 12.
15.
Yeah, I think
Mainly water weight.
mine was like, I think mine was 12, and that hurt too. Like my stomach was like,
Yeah, it definitely hurt. Y'all see me getting wheelchaired off that goddamn plane? Shit.
I was like, he's capping. He sent me a video. We sent the group chat video.
Hey,
You got to
I
put
wasn't
that
lying.
on here. You got to tell Johnny to put these on here.
bro, I couldn't believe
I
that.
was not lying, bro.
I couldn't
Hell
believe
no,
it.
that shit was painful.
When you eat
That shit was
sushi,
painful.
do you eat sushi with a fork or chopsticks?
Chopsticks.
Chops.
Chopsticks.
I got grilled for this, bro. I had a fork. Bro, I don't
Boy,
use
you better learn how to use chops.
if I use a chopstick, I got one of those little safety or whatever they're called. Like
Yeah.
That's okay.
The
That's okay.
little
You got
clamp.
the kid chop. You got the
The
kid
kid
chop. It's okay. It's okay. At least you're using chops. You can't go to one of those restaurants and
can't use
sit
a
there
fork,
and
bro.
eat sushi with a damn fork. No, you can't.
I'm de-
Unless you're getting like, so sometimes when I do go to it's a teppanyaki place, hibachi, same thing, whatever you guys call it. But literally, if I'm grabbing something else, I would kind of eat my food with a fork and maybe grab a sushi roll. But if I'm just eating sushi, it's chops the whole time.
Damn.
You got to learn, bro.
You never use
It
them?
ain't hard to pick up.
I tried to, I'm not coordinated that way. I'm just shit was falling
Shit,
out
it
of
took
my
me a
hand.
minute.
I didn't
It
even
took me
pay
a minute.
attention when we went out that night.
But you have to. It's just like anything else. Is how many times you do it. You keep going and using them. You'll definitely get better at it. Because, bro, in the beginning,
I'm at a point like, how is that gonna?
I'm up here,
what's that
bro.
gonna
I'm up
enhance
here
my
trying
life?
to eat my shit like this. Like, what the fuck is going on? Oh man, you just gotta.
Oh man. All right. I know, Aaron, you're the Fashion Nova guy. What clothes or like what style would you say you have outside of gym clothes? Like what would you?
I just wear trendy shit. Again, my background has been a fashion stylist. I've always had my own little way of dressing. But what's crazy with this question is, bro, you know how many people ask me on a daily, like, yo, where do you get your jeans from? I'm not telling nobody where I get my jeans from. Because next thing you know, everybody
got it.
finna be wearing them shits. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Trying to steal the style.
Absolutely not. You can't steal the style. Y'all better go to Fashion Nova or Boohoo Man or what else got good, cool jeans? Somewhere else, but I ain't giving y'all my plug.
Damn.
I'm simple. I do jeans and a t-shirt, like a fitted t-shirt or something, and get some Air Jordans. I'm good. Just match
Yeah,
the
I hear
shirt
you.
with the shoes, and that's it.
Fact.
I Instagram gets me a lot, believe it or not. Like you ever heard of the website called Kojo and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, I see them
Like
whenever I'm scrolling. It's like, hey, check this. Like, it's a cool shirt or something.
yeah,
They got different
Bro,
advertisements.
I've yet to buy anything off of Instagram like that.
bro. Okay,
I'm scared, bro. Like
I would too.
fraud. Like,
Yeah,
I just take a
bro,
chance
I
now.
don't. I
like
don't
it's some
I took a
scam.
Nobody's
chance and it paid
stealing my
off.
money.
I took a chance and it paid off. But damn. Um,
I would tell you something about fashion though. So I mean, I got friends who have a lot of money out here where I'm from, and I've traveled the world with people who have money as well, bro. When it comes to like watches, I'm not a watch guy. I talked to Drew, and my buddy Zach. They talk about watches and stuff like that. I'm just not a big watch guy. But I'm a watch person who has very unique watches. Bro, I wore one watch. So I went out to the Panada headquarters in Italy in the beginning of the year.
you and my boy Harry.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
my guy.
So the thing is, like, we went out there and the people they bring, they're gym owners, have money, just balling, right? Bro, we're sitting at the table and for some reason I'm feeling weird because I feel like people are just looking, right? And next thing you know, they ask the question, man, what kind of watch is that? That watch is crazy. That has to be like a $10,000 watch. I'm like, oh, this shit's about to get funny. So I asked the question. I said, how much you think the watch is? It went from 10,000. There was like a 12,000. There was like a 5,000, 500. There was like 750. I'm like, that mean I got good taste, huh? This motherfucker cost me $16.
Damn.
Bro, when it comes to fashion, bro, it's not about high price shit. Yeah, when you're around people who got money and just flashy like that, that's a conversation starter. But for me, bro, I've been in fashion. I shop trends and looks. You know what I mean? I don't shop brands like that. I mean, I have Gucci glue. I have stuff like that. But you ain't beating my $16 watch. I tell you that right now.
What sports did you guys play in high school or college?
I wrestled since I was 5, all the way till my senior year of high school. I ran track. I ran cross country. Mainly that was just to stay in shape after wrestling season. But I never had a passion for it. I just kind of did it because I was just competitive, but I didn't really love it. So after I graduated high school, I got into powerlifting, and that's kind of what set me up for bodybuilding. And I didn't compete in powerlifting or anything, but I followed powerlifting percentage workouts. And I noticed I was getting stronger, but I wasn't getting any bigger. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather look like I could lift this weight than just lift the weight and not look like I can. So I
Right.
started dieting and hired a coach and started going from there and learned a lot on my own. And here we are now.
Man, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school.
Jesus.
So I played football was my main sport. That was my number one sport. Believe it or not, I was actually a decent quarterback, and I was a
Quarterback,
really
bro.
phenomenal.
I saw
I was
some of your
really
videos. You posted them on Instagram one time, and I remember I was like,
yeah
"Damn!" I was like, "You were actually good." I'm like,
yeah.
"Damn!"
I was pretty good, man, and I had the potential to. I mean, I had offers from UCLA and big time colleges, man, but it's just when it when it came to them grades, they seen that freshman year that they said, Mr. Manning, what happened here? Well, shit, I was just one of them kids that just got kicked out of class, and the thing is I love it because, it kind of put my mind in a different direction because one, after not going D1, that shit just tore me a piece. Like I'm like, damn, like this is what I worked hard for, Then I went to a JUCO, played there for 2 years, and I went to Northwestern Oklahoma, played out there for a year, and then I was like, this shit ain't for me no more. Like that ship has sailed. But it was football, basketball, track and field. Basketball, I was a decent basketball player. It was just for coming off of it was my number one sport before football because I was always the smallest kid. Always the smallest kid. I was shorter than everybody in my family going to school. I was just shorter than everybody until like my 11th and between my junior and senior summer, bro, I sprouted a 6'2". So next thing you know, that my senior year, they like, what the hell happened? But I just had that growth spurt, and yeah, and then track and field, I don't. Let me tell y'all this right now, I don't like to run. I only jump. I fucking hate running. I hate to
You a
run.
long
You won't
jumper?
never see me. I'm a long triple and high. Long triple and high. And everything else, y'all can have that. Oh, Aaron, come run the 100 for us today. No.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't never ran a mile in high school to get tested.
You was sick that day? You had a hammy?
What?
Pulled his hammy?
Bro, what? I was popular in school, so I just told my high school coach just wrote 635. Oh, that's passing.
You had the
I ain't
plug
running
back
a
then.
mile. You crazy as hell.
But I
Not
played
me.
football growing up, volleyball growing up, but my main sport was definitely was football. Yeah, something. But one thing I say about football, man, is football taught you and to me personally so many characteristics that translated or transitioned into bodybuilding, right? Like obviously the discipline aspect, and I always say the mindset of touching the line every time you do a rep, right? That's something how I transition with bodybuilding, and whether it's doing an extra minute when I'm on the treadmill, right? Whether it's doing an extra rep, just holding myself to that extra standard, and the ability to be disciplined, right? Get up early, manage your schedule, right? Also forces you to be on schedule with everything else, especially those of you who play college football, you understand, with the workload of school and then film and then practices and yada 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 going on. I think that it taught me a lot of the characteristics of who I am now that simply translated into being a bodybuilder. So football has definitely built that foundation for me, and I'm excited to continue to build upon it in bodybuilding. But we are coming up on an hour and a half, guys. Is there anything else you want to add on or touch on before we get out?
Nope, I got some trick.
Just got a lot of shows to cover next weekend.
Yeah, dude, we got 4 shows coming up next weekend. One of them I may or may not be competing in.
That
But
part, that's funny.
bro, it's wild. Like my head is all over the place.
Now we
right
know the thumbnail. You got to be like, will Alex compete in India? Because ending this right now, we don't know.
We truly don't know. We really, really don't know. So right now, I'm just waiting on the email back.
Yeah, you
But,
better update me, man. I'm like, I need to know this. It feels like I'm
bro,
going through it too.
if I'm not competing, I'm about to go get some sushi tomorrow. I'm pissed. But
You should.
I'm using forks. No, but again, I always like to end with this. And somebody told me to do this. So, guys, share the podcast if you can with somebody who you might think that this could be valuable for. Someone DM'd me, was like, bro, I forgot, you got to tell us to share it at the end because I always forget. But share it. Again, man, I know I might be being a dead horse here, but the love, us going to shows, being out in fitness environments, and it's insane just hearing the applause from the podcast and the value that you guys are getting. Like I said, we have a in-person podcast coming up. It's going to be at an event with a gym opening. So, we'll talk about that a little bit more as it comes up, but it's going to be in my hometown, home state in Jersey. So it's going to be really fun. And hopefully you guys can come out there and support if you guys are local. But regardless, this was one hell of an episode. An episode that, like you said, a lot of improv shit happened on here, but Drew, seriously, bro, like I'm glad that you're in a better headspace. At the end of the day, like you said, all we can do is roll the punches that life throws at us and bodybuilding throws at us, and it's only a matter of time.
Hey, go look at that Instagram post. It's gonna be a good one.
What one?
I
just posted it. It's gonna be a good one.
Bro, I just can't believe I just can't believe how big you got.
Bruh. It's crazy.
It is not missing anything. And you're in a tank top. You could see just your taper and everything. Your upper. Did you hit chest?
I hit chest and back.
Your chest looks ridiculous.
It was it's real when it's a 2-day when he 2-day post.
Yeah.
Like he got 2 posts today. He's stepping up. He's like, I'm
2.
feeling myself. I'm feeling myself.
We're keeping us
It was just one
updated.
of
You got to
them-
keep
it was just one of
everybody
them
wondering.
days. You got to keep them. I mean,
Show
shit,
that-
they
show that progress.
wondering, all right.
It's enough, but not too much because you left the tank on. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
how's he looking?
Yeah,
We're gonna start
no.
getting these back posts too once those hardeners start acting up.
Bro, when they start acting up, it's over. It's over for this look. I can't, like I said, I can't even picture how it's going to look. I just can't.
That's the best
That's
part.
what makes it exciting
my
because then
back
you're just like,
It's more detailed, it's wider, it's more dense, and that also goes for the front. My front, bro, I have cross striations like across my chest, and I ain't on nothing.
You're entering
Nothing
a
right
new,
now.
a new
No
zone.
harder, no nothing. But we just started, so it's gonna be real interesting.
All right, let me get out of here. I'm still having a mini heart attack. I will keep you
Hey,
guys up to date.
Take care of what you got to take care of, bro.
As always, guys, I appreciate y'all. And until next week, and again, let's get better. I'll talk to y'all soon.